An Asheville man is taken down by force after police say he threatened a family member, then told officers he had a gun.
It was caught on video and shows the situation escalate quickly. News 13's Charles Perez joins us with a look at that video and reaction from an expert in criminal justice.
Well, I'll tell you, the video can even be hard to watch. It was shot by Devon Whitmire's girlfriend. She told us she wanted to put it out there because she believes what happened to Devon was wrong. But was it? We spoke with an expert who took a look at the video and told us what he thought.
He just said he had a gun.
He doesn't.
It happened around 6 p.m. on March 13th. Devon Whitmire's girlfriend shot this video as police detained him on an outstanding warrant in Asheville's Erskine-Walton neighborhood.
I got all this on tape. Yo, what the f?
The scene escalated after, according to police, Whitmire said he had a gun. We sat down with Professor of Criminal Law at John Jay College to find out if this was an excessive use of force.
I always tell people force doesn't look pretty. It's not like on television. You know, you hit a person one time and they go down. You know, he's actively and resisting.
But is that enough to hold him to the ground, his face to the pavement and pressure on his neck? It could depend on whether or not he had a weapon.
And then there's a mention of a firearm. Once you start mentioning firearms, you know what? The use of force, it has to be a little bit quick, a little bit precise, more determined.
Get off of him!
Whitmire, then on his feet, tries to kick officers and spits at them. Asheville PD forwarded the video and body cam footage to the district attorney for an independent review. The DA confirming police did not use excessive force given the circumstances.
They used an appropriate amount of force that was to detain a man who said he had a gun and was actively resisting.
Something this criminal law expert agrees with.
You know what? This was a violent fight. He put up the fight. The officers used the force that they could. Is force pretty? It never is.
He ain't got nothing on him. But he doesn't have nothing on him. Why the f is they on him like that? Nah, that's my fiance. That's my fiance. Why the f is they on him like that?
Now, according to the district attorney, it was the police body cam footage that led him to believe there was no probable cause that excessive force was used. The officers are still on duty, and no investigation, he says, is required.
I don't feel no love for no police. When you're coming in with your guns, I want to kill you. Put me in holes because of my record.
Tonight, a crowd at Pack Square Park is once again hoping for a larger discussion about police and use of force.
This comes after a recent video of a man's arrest in Asheville prompted outrage on social media. We want to warn you, some of this video may be hard to watch. News 13's Hannah McKenzie shares new developments today.
Fallout continues over the arrest of Devon Whitmire, the 27-year-old seen here in a confrontation with APD officers as they attempt to serve a warrant and take him into custody Saturday. Some now accusing these officers of using excessive force. A small group gathering Thursday in downtown Asheville's Pack Square Park demanding answers. Michael Hayes, organizer of Apply the Pressure Committee, declined an on-camera interview, but says APD agreed to a meeting with him on Tuesday.
To talk about solutions, talk about community health workers, talk about different plans.
An hour later, Whitmire's arrest brought up during the City of Asheville's Human Resources Commission meeting by members of the public.
No de-escalation tactics were used. The community deserves answers as to why there was no de-escalation by Asheville Police Department officers.
And those on the commission, like Dolores Venable.
Sometimes you don't ever know what precipitated, and the more I hear about this situation, it is a gray area, and I feel my heart goes out.
Commission member Daniel Young stating he witnessed Whitmire's arrest.
If our mayor and our chief of police are okay with our kids being traumatized by these gang-related police officers, because every time you come to our community, you call, I'm in a gang because I stay here, Chris. What about the police? They're in gangs. You come in our community, treat us like slaves.
According to the Asheville Police Department, Whitmire kicked officers and spit at them. After watching officer-worn body cam footage, Buncombe County District Attorney Todd Williams announcing he is not seeking additional review by the State Bureau of Investigation, as he's determined no excessive force was used in the arrest. City Attorney Brad Branham stating he's filing a motion Friday on behalf of the city for the public release of that body cam footage. Right now, Whitmire is still in custody at the Buncombe County Detention Facility facing 11 charges. His bond is set at $85,000.
The school year may be almost over, but the debate over diversity, equity, and inclusion is not.
Experts say the goal of DEI is to improve teaching and students' learning, but many conservative lawmakers believe it does just the opposite.
Tonight, a DEI consultant helps paint a clearer picture for News 13 Investigates on DEI policies in public schools. Also, News 13's Ty Russell reports most of our local districts are shying away from the term DEI, even though they may have DEI-like policies.
I want to thank the board that you will no longer at this time seek to initiate DEI in
For
our
Bonnie
schools.
Childers,
But I find it deeply disturbing that our McDowell County School Board even considered it.
she's against diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives proposed and then dropped back in April for McDowell County Public Schools.
According to this, the greatest oppressor is a white male over the age of 50 who is a Christian.
Grace Baptist Church pastor Eric Grindstaff also says no to DEI.
Equity seeks to place value on an individual and devalue other individuals.
But sixth grade teacher Taylor White, who's leaving education, gives DEI a grade A.
My students deserve to see their whole self represented in their academic resources.
DEI is now a national debate pushed by conservative Republicans, and we've seen bans on recruitment measures and even how race is taught in classrooms. But it has been difficult to grasp a complete picture of this crisis in the classroom. So News 13 Investigates wanted to know more about how DEI looks in public schools. Former high school teacher Susie Silver now works as a consultant with the diversity movement in Raleigh. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. People are hearing diversity, equity, inclusion a lot these days. So I'm going to ask you, what is it?
Quite often, diversity, we are defaulted to race and gender. Those are yeses, sexual orientation, yes, and. It's not a but, and. How can we think of diversity as something that's more expanded than a lot of us have previously thought? Equity, we're looking at the fair system structures and supports, the processes that people have access and opportunity, and that we're fighting against barriers that exist currently. And inclusion is about fostering an environment where everybody can show up as themselves and know, not just feel, but no, they are seen, safe, heard, amplified, valued.
And so this is not just for gay people or Black people. This is for everybody.
It is for all of us. And, many of us don't know what each other have experienced, what we're holding in our lives right now, what we might have held in our lives in the past.
How would DEI programs or initiatives work at the K through 12 level?
What books are being read? The language that educators and administrators are using, that's inclusive. How do we greet a group of students? That's inclusion. And actually the way we do that can be quite exclusive and kind of make people feel othered.
I sent email messages to 15 local school districts asking if they have DEI programs. Asheville City, Buncombe, Polk, and Jackson replied to my request. Nobody else did. And no district in our area wanted to go on camera about this topic. Now, in an email, only Asheville City Schools said it has an approach to equity. In searching the internet, I found the school system does have an executive director of equity and community engagement on staff. Now, others described what they do to make sure all students and staff are treated fairly. If schools have initiatives or programs that they want to implement and not call it DEI, will it still be considered DEI though?
Thinking about initiatives or lessons, we don't necessarily always have to say it's diversity, equity, and inclusion. But in reality, it's the expansion of what we're teaching, how we're teaching it, understanding who we're serving.